Well, hello and welcome. I just realized I thought I set this to start at 8:25, but I've just realized I set it to start at a different time. I apologize. I'm all over the shop today. Well, welcome. Second live. This is really special today. Twice. You got me twice in one day. Momentous, hey? Momentous. Hope you're all doing well. So I actually don't have much of a topic to talk about today. Tonight, I'm just going to come out and hang out with you all, and we're going to talk about whatever you like to talk about. We're just going to shoot the breeze, as they say. And hello, the fox, and see how we go. I think one of the things that we need to start off with is some big news. Finally, the WA border is going to be opened. I did get to see the FJ clip. It was pretty amazing. Now, what is very interesting is the date that the border opened coincides with the return of the Premier of Western Australia from Sydney. Now, he maintains down here if we go to the bottom of this article, when the border comes down on March 3, any arrivals who are still in quarantine will be allowed out. That will include the Premier, who will have returned from Sydney, where he's required to give evidence in defamation proceedings with mining billionaire Clive Palmer. But Mr. Mark McGowan said he will remain in quarantine after the border opens and will do a full 7 days isolation. It is a coincidence I'm unable to avoid that I return from Sydney and I am in quarantine when the border comes down. But I will be doing 7 days quarantine. I will be in a hotel room, working from a hotel room, doing a full 7 days. He also was asked how the public could trust that the reopening date would not be changed. The date is locked in and I cannot foresee a situation where that would change. It's only 12 days away. So, yes, it coincides. The border coming down coincides with the return trip. Hello, Osbel. Everybody, remember we need to thank Osbel for the beautiful thumbnail. So he's saying it's a coincidence. I don't know. There's the skeptic in me goes, it's a pretty big coincidence. Why is it that I just don't trust politicians? So WA have now got an issue where they actually have where they're having cases. So whether they have the border open or closed, they're still getting coronavirus cases. So they reckon they're set to reach a peak of 10,000 new cases a day by the end of March. Does that scare? Oh, you guys see the one I'm wearing? Oh, nice. So also WA is extending the mask mandate. So, and a 2 square meter capacity for venues. So they put restrictions, 75% capacity on forward-facing seated entertainment venues, nightclubs, capped at 500. So they're actually doing restrictions. And they could be doing some more restrictions further. But they're stating that WA is expecting 10,000 cases a day. Now, I don't know whether anyone saw Swollen Pickles video today, because it was very, very confronting, and it was pretty shocking, if I might add, about how serious this virus is, and how it seems to be that nobody seems to care anymore, that people are dying every day from the virus, and it's like everyone's just given up. It was very, I found it very confronting. So I might put it on. Yeah, so Friendly George. And the other thing is, following, we also looked at the Mick Fuller yesterday as well. Well, it looks like the New South Wales Police have are launching an internal investigation. So New South Wales Police Forces launched an internal investigation into the ABC's revelations about the horse racing interests of former Commissioner Mick Fuller and senior officials. So yesterday, the ABC revealed that Mr. Fuller and the senior police did not declare their shares in the racehorses, which was potentially a breach of the anti-corruption rules. So the matters raised by the ABC investigations are currently under investigation by the Professional Standards Committee. So it will examine the conduct of high-ranking serving New South Wales Police Force employees who own shares in a racehorse with Mr. Fuller. However, pressure is mounting on the New South Wales government to launch an independent inquiry into the racing ties of Mr. Fuller, who retired last month. And New South Wales Greens MP David Shoebridge, who has been raising questions for years about Mr. Fuller's racing interests, said he doubted whether an internal investigation would have any impact. Well, it's good to see some movement. There is little confidence that the police investigating a very senior police will produce a genuine outcome. So very interesting. So yeah, we've now got it'll be very interesting to see if anything comes out of that. So I'm going to play this, and I want you. I'm going to link it here, and I will stop it. So for the copyright thing. But just bear in mind, this is also Australian statistics. So this is the Swollen Pickles video link. I'm going to link that here, and I'm going to share it. So. And lots of people have said this is presented so well. There's been no dislikes. Everybody has liked it. It's very confronting, and I've been sharing it on all my social media as well. All right, so here we go. Let's have a look.
There's been something bothering me lately, and I'm starting to feel like I may be in the minority. There'll be no attempted humour in this one. There'll be no memes, no jokes, just facts.
So he's talking about how quickly people are being desensitised to the number of COVID-19 deaths occurring on a daily basis. And we hear the government say, yes, but they had another condition, or they had a pre-existing condition, or it doesn't matter, or, they were old, or whatever. I've been jumping up and down about this as well, but it's good to see that someone else has put it more eloquently than what I could.
Okay, so here's what bothers me. More Australians have died of COVID-19 in the first 6 weeks of 2022 than in 2020 and 2021 combined. 6 weeks, 2,307 deaths. That's 2,307 people that have died. Just let
that number sink in for a moment. That is pretty amazing in 6 weeks. I don't know about you. That just scares the living daylights out of me.
that sink in for a second. take a look at what's occupied the front pages of major media outlets this past month.
It's very interesting when it goes through like that. Did you see that the ones did you see the ones anything about the virus COVID is about mandated mandated vaccines or anything? It's always about or rat tests.
Would you have known that over half of all Australian deaths in the pandemic to date occurred within the first 6 weeks of 2022?
Again, let that sink in. Wow. Pickle.
I'd be surprised if there were too many Australians that were aware of that fact.
And yet we spent the last 2 years in lockdown and we're opening up, interestingly enough. This has been my point.
There's been quite a few incorrect statistics thrown around, particularly on Twitter. So here are a couple more facts to help the misinformed. It's just the flu. It's not. 2 years in and we've still got people trying to run with this. The simple fact is that more people have died of COVID-19 in the first 6 weeks of 2022 than died from the flu in the 5-year period 2017 to 2021.
Again, look at those facts.
More people die on the road every year. For starters, why is this even a comparison people try to make? But regardless, let's look at the data. The average number of road deaths annually over the 5-year period 2017 to 2021 was 1,155 deaths per year. The simple fact is that more Australians have died of COVID-19 in the first 6 weeks of 2022 than died on Australian roads in 2020 and 2021 combined.
Again, isn't this shocking? And yet nobody's talking about this. No one's caring.
This isn't about state versus state or political party versus political party. While the media are focusing on our ukulele playing Prime Minister and whether or not a tennis player should be allowed to compete in the Australian Open, or what's happening with the Australian cricket coach, Australians are dying in numbers not seen before throughout this pandemic.
Look at that.
So why isn't this getting more coverage? Is it apathy? Have people become desensitized?
I think his cynic self, I think the cynic in him is correct. I think it's because we've got elections coming up. I agree with the pickle.
Are people just over it?
Just because you want it to be over doesn't mean it is. It simply isn't. This is with us for a long time.
So there you go. That's the pickles video. It was very confronting, as I said, and I think the pickle's correct though. We've got an election. We don't want to be talking about the fact that people are dying. So my question is, if we're getting more deaths, we actually have more cases too. You know, and yet we've still, you know, we're opening up. And I'm not talking about the fact that, you know, everyone says, you know, you got to live with the virus. But considering that we closed for less last year, I'm not saying that we should be closed. I'm just saying we need to take it seriously. And I know everyone's sick of it. Well, and that would also be correct. Well, and the other thing is if governments actually listen to health advice, because I swear that they're not, I think governments are over. We know for a fact that New South Wales ignored their health ministers, their health officers' advice. But we know that. Documents have been revealed. Documents have revealed that. But why? For what? For a few votes? So that was the pickles. That was the pickles video. So I would encourage you to go and like and subscribe to the pickle if you haven't already. So yeah, and don't forget we locked down as well. We locked down very quickly. It looks like everyone's given up on the COVID zero, but we know that if you stop movement, you stop the virus. And I'm saying that the border. I don't think the borders should be open. Myself, the international borders should be open. But again, that's just me, and I get criticized. Hello, beautiful people, especially Joe. Oh, okay. Well, I thought I thought I was implied in the beautiful people. How are you going? Without a lawyer? How are you going? So we're just. So here's so you know I'm working in freight handling. So last night was my last day of work for the week. Freight handling. It must have been the L'Oreal day. I swear I did 5 pallets of L'Oreal hair products. And in fact, they're the only dangerous goods that don't have to be handled as dangerous goods, believe it or not. You had the big the C19, did you? Wow. How were you really ill? I've had people that have been really sick. I've heard people that haven't been really sick. And I guess it depends on the variant that you get. Depends on how sick you have. Harrison's had COVID. He's just recovered. He's just come out of isolation from COVID too. He got it from school. Actually, his brother got it. His little brother got it, and then he got it. So it seems to be, again, schools are the cesspool of the virus, or education facilities. That's right. You can say the word here. They're gonna flag it anyway, so it's okay. I don't care. To be honest with you, I don't care. So I've still managed to avoid it, but now that I'm back teaching at the school, I think it's only a matter of time before I get it. It's a matter of when now rather than if, I guess. Oh no. Your car broke down, blame it on public transport. You know, I hear people go, I got COVID and I'm triple vaxxed. And I go, yeah, triple vaxxed doesn't mean you're not going to get it. Like, you still have to do all the other stuff too. And you can still get it because that's the type of the virus it is. You know? triple vax may just mean that you're going to stay out of hospital. But I had Astra, so I was, oh, yes, that's right, because I know AstraZeneca is better for Omicron than I had Pfizer. The Pfizer. Moderna. So anyway, hello Dan, how are you? I was on public transport a lot during tennis. My daughter has it from Dan. Wow, we haven't seen it. Well, as I said, I'm half expecting to get it now that I'm back at school. But I'm doing my studies online because I don't know. I just we were talking about a video by Swollen Pickle about the fact that more people have died from COVID-19 than car accidents and the flu over the last 3 years. Heading towards your way, but got of an hour before I hit my cool. And we really haven't really started talking about gossy stuff yet. But do you have any goss for us? Who's got some goss? I did notice that it was Labor's fault. I did notice, Peter, that it was Labor's fault that the CLP sold the port of Darwin, according to the Prime Minister. Yeah, well, I thought I had written down my live was starting at 8:25, which I did, but I realized I'd set it to start at 9. So that was my fault. It's been a while since I've set a time for lives. So the thumbnail's pretty cool though. I know I had to reuse it. I had to use it again because I thought it was so good we had to reuse it. So, but in case you haven't worked out, I'm staying in my lane. All the stuff that's happening. Turns up in nothing but his strained underwear to blame actress. Oh, really? Oh, I have to look up that one. Wow. Oh, really? They can get out of the deal? But didn't the Fed sign off on it? Somebody had to have signed off on it. Okay. All right. You can send me a link then. That's great. Thank you. What's the latest on the Twitter street drama? I'm staying offline, trying to stay out of the drama lanes. Oh, it's still going. It's still going on, from what I can work out. Today, well, that's why I'm staying in my lane. They had to build it. But well, that's right. And I mean, I still don't understand why you would sell a port, which is essential for services for your country. But anyway, I don't know. Oh, Bella, he's just saying that he's staying off the drama lanes, staying out of the drama lanes as well. Have you seen our port? No, I haven't seen the port. Let's have a look. They got sold a lemon, according to. Oh, is that why? Oh, he's in Darwin, is he? Oh. Oh, that's how this is. That's why he's talking about it, because he's in Darwin. Oh. Was he? Oh, was he really? Oh, dear me. Oh. Why doesn't he just call the election? He's seen he's already going around. He's already like doing his election campaign. Oh, there's an article that said that he was grilled over something, but of course it's behind a paywall. Oh, he's freaking money, hey? All right, this is it here. So Prime Minister says no security concerns raised with him about Darwin at port lease to Chinese company at Landbridge. Under a 99-year lease. He said he would act if national security concerns were raised about any critical infrastructure in Australia, but has indicated no such advice has been provided about the Darwin port. Chinese company Landbridge purchased a 99-year lease over the facility as part of a $506 million deal negotiated by the Northern Territory's former CLP government in 2015. So why is it that everybody else knows it was the CLP that instigated it except the Prime Minister? Why is he blaming Labor? But the deal over the strategically important asset has been the subject of ongoing scrutiny and criticism amid rising diplomatic and economic tensions between China and Australia. Last month, a federal parliamentary inquiry committee recommended the Commonwealth consider reclaiming Australian ownership of the port if the lease was deemed to be against the national interest. Yesterday, a former Labor Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd, called on the federal government to conduct and make it a national security review of port lease. Mr. Rudd said the deal had become a political problem for Scott Morrison because it occurred under his watch as federal treasurer. During a visit to Darwin on Wednesday, Mr. Morrison defended his handling of the port deal, saying it was the sole responsibility of the former territory government. It was not a lease that was approved by the federal government. It was not something that was subject to federal laws at the time. Indeed, as treasurer, I made sure that in future that such transactions would be subject to future federal approvals. If any adverse assessments were made by security agencies, he would respond. The government has repeatedly said the port deal with Landbridge is not subject to the same legislation. That recently allowed Victoria's Belt and Road Initiative agreement with China to be rescinded. Mr. Morrison was asked if the government was looking at any alternative issues, including land bridges contract obligations. The presupposes a piece of advice from our defence and intelligence agencies, he said, and there is not anything before the government that would make that recommendation. NTCLP Senator Sam McMahon yesterday said she too had been told that there were no security concerns about the port lease. She confirmed she had asked the Foreign Affairs Minister to assess whether Land Bridge was abiding by it. If it wasn't, then the minister would have made a decision. So Land Bridge told the ABC it met all of its commitments under the agreement. We will work collaboratively with the Northern Territory government and our stakeholders to expand the Darwin Port's operational capacity at Land Bridge, Australia's managing director said. So there you go. It wasn't me. They plan to create. So yes. It wasn't me. I was just the treasurer. It wasn't me. And here's the other interesting little thing that I find to be a bit talking about Northern Territory. Still on Northern Territory. Sorry, Peter. I didn't do it. Russia is not in China. Yes. Domestic travellers need to be vaccinated against COVID to enter the Northern Territory. So now they've lifted the ban preventing people from vaccination. So if you're not vaccinated, you can go off to the Northern Territory. So you also don't need a border entry form anymore either. Do I come, please? With high vaccination rates in the territory across the country, it's become an unnecessary use of resources to require all travellers to complete a border entry form to enter the territory. Apparently, you don't need to be vaccinated either. So while they've not explicitly listed, they've not announced that the ban's been lifted, it's been confirmed that the rule's no longer in place. They've just done it under the table in the hope that nobody notices. Oh dear. So it was revoked Friday afternoon. They must be the first state to do that, because I think you have to be vaccinated in every other state. And I would have thought with such a high level of vulnerable residents in the Northern Territory that they would be very very cautious still. So I don't know. Unfortunately, I think the death toll is just going to increase for COVID. I showed at the start Solomon Pickles' video on the statistics of deaths due to COVID. It was pretty shocking. So also discussed about how WA's borders restrictions are lifting around the same time as Mark McGowan comes back from Sydney, because he's got to go to Sydney for his defamation case against Clive Palmer. Clive Palmer is suing him for defamation. So And apparently, if you're in the US and you're waiting on the Porsche, they're not coming. Look at this. Cargo ship carrying hundreds of Volkswagen Group luxury cars catches fire off the coast of Portugal. A cargo ship carrying a number of Volkswagen Group vehicles have caught fire near the coast of Portugal. The 22 crew members on board were evacuated. No one was hurt. It was traveling from Germany to the US when fire broke out on Wednesday. A Porsche spokesperson said about 1,100 Porsche vehicles were on board at the time. Audi confirmed some of its vehicles were also on board, but did not say how many. A German newspaper reported that an internal email from Volkswagen USA stated the ship was carrying 3,965 vehicles of the VW, Porsche, Audi, and Lamborghini brands. A picture shared by, so that's the smoke billowing. But the new owners went up the port. We're going to let it talk anyway. The fire is under control, but the captain of the port of Horta told the Portuguese news agency Smoking Tire Automotive podcast host Matt Farah wrote on Twitter that he'd been contacted by his car dealer who told him the Porsche Boxster Spider he had ordered was now adrift, possibly on fire in the middle of the ocean. I should have laughed. So are they saying that if you want your car, you gotta go swim and find it? And Shorty Gears is the best sports car of all time, hands down. I had it spec'd exactly as I wanted. There is no moving on. He's now adrift in the middle of the ocean. I'm sorry. I'm just like I'm just in one of those moods tonight. How did it catch fire? There's another one that I saw, a ferry that had a wave hit it and it broke the window. Yeah. So anyway, that was probably some sharks. Yes. Someone's going to have some fun. So anyway, I want to tell you so everything you think about what happens to your freight is probably correct. I worked out probably if you order something, it's probably handled 6 or 7 times. It's taken from a pallet or a truck onto a conveyor belt, onto a pallet, loaded into a car, so quite often the big manufacturers will send pallets, so pallets of L'Oreal, and there might be 500 cartons on there, and they're all addressed to where they've got to go around the country. And we take the plastic, we cut the plastic, and we put all of them, or I should say we throw the boxes onto the conveyor belt. They're then scanned and they go either there's like an interstate line or like domestic line, and so the States. So then they go somewhere else and they're loaded onto a pallet, and then they're taken to the next location where they're unwrapped, scanned, and then, domestic, they're done by areas, etc., 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 etc. Yesterday, a courier, so they have we have the big double Bs, and they hold about 100 pallets. They can hold up to 100 pallets. We're expected to do, 50 pallets. We do 100 pallets every hour. Every person has an expectation of going through 10 pallets an hour. Sometimes you might get, I did actually have a kitchen sink. I had a kid's kitchen sink, a kid's bench, kid's table, and kid's laundry set all on one pallet. That was one pallet. They were huge. Anyway, yesterday on the conveyor belt, in fact, we have there's two lines. There's the normal conveyor belt, and then there's what we call the dangerous goods one. So that doesn't go through all the fancy stuff. That actually gets manually, so it just goes around on a conveyor belt, like your luggage. And so all the dangerous goods, so for example, hand sanitizer is classed as a dangerous good because it could be flammable. Matches, all of that sort of stuff all has to be labeled. So that's all, and then all the big items. So I've done tires. I've done tires. I've done mud flaps for Hondas. I've done a Harley Davidson. For the motorbike handles and stuff like that. Anyway, yesterday, and it got put onto, we call it the unsorts belt. So anything that is not square, or if it's fragile, it goes to unsorts. There's this laptop. It was a laptop and a cord, and the label was attached to the cord. Now, considering that that's going to be handled 6 times, I very highly doubt the likelihood that laptop is going to arrive in one piece. There was no packaging. It was just the laptop. It would be like me sending my iPad with the charger on top. And that's all it was. And we looked at it, we went, don't think this is going to last very long. And so it was handled with care because it's fragile, but it is going into state. So it has to go through, it goes into a cage, and then it's loaded up to, so when that gets unsorted, so that there's a cage that goes into a cage where it's loaded onto a cage, then it's taken, and then it's driven to the state, and then it goes through the same process again. Well, I wanted to know, A, whether it was insured and whether the insurance company would then insure it. But so we were like, we're going, wonder how long this will take before it actually breaks, because we reckon the screen will go, because and the thing is, the likelihood of something getting put on top of it is very high, and the likelihood of it getting squashed is very high. And as I said, it's got to go interstate, and it's still probably got another 3 truck drives to go, saving on postage. Look, I picked up a box. I can tell you this. Sometimes, this is interesting. So sometimes you take the wrapper off, and the whole box, the whole pallet just falls in front of you, and you actually. But yesterday, I box of L'Oreal products, picked up the box, and the bottom came out of the box. It's like, what can I do? Actually, Pete, I hadn't thought about that. And so we then tip the box upside, put all the products in, and then it goes onto the unsort belts where they actually repackage it. They check to make sure that everything's there, and then they reseal it. So, yeah. Sometimes the way that people package the products are a bit iffy. And so, yeah, when you've got the boxes just falling apart on you. The worst thing that happens is when you clean it up at night and you find an odd product. And you go, where does this go? What does this belong to? What's this fallen out of? And you cannot find it. So, but when you think about it, everything usually has to go through some type of freight facility. So I had a whole box of adult products the other day, and I found out that things that are 9-inch with ball and chain are very popular. Because I went, am I reading this correctly? I said to somebody, am I reading this correctly? Is this saying what I think it says? And there was 5 boxes of them. And it was like, okay, I need to go. No, not 8.5 inch. They were 9-inch. They were 9-inch. They were 9-inch. There was no picture, fortunately, on the box. It was all just in writing. So, yeah. Oh, I know that I can tell you that all the Mother's Day and Easter cards are arriving in stores too. Because I've done those. What, for 5 boxes? No, they were going to adult shops, and sometimes you get a little bit of interest and you go, gee, I wonder where this is going, and then you go, oh, that's interesting. Get a lot of promotional stuff through too, and we get all the healthcare stuff too for all the hospitals. So, because remember, it's a subsidiary of Australia Post, so it's owned by the government. So the government uses it for all of their stuff. But yeah, 10 pallets an hour, 2 double Bs an hour, 100 pallet. Yeah, but they were doing 106. They did 106 packages a day leading up to Christmas. Oh, I don't know physics down under. I don't know. Well, actually, funnily enough, when I first started there, we got a whole pallet of rats, and they were in great demand at the time. And I said to them, I wonder whether I could make a box disappear, because yes, there's a whole pallet of them. In fact, I think all this stuff had come in from. I think a whole pile of supplies are coming from China, because we got a whole pile of stuff that had come from China. Well, the adult products, the adult stuff made me laugh. Rent a Girlfriend, a box that said Rent a Girlfriend has been the one that's had the most laughs, because the box got passed around everybody to have a look at, and just absolutely hilarious. So yeah, but then, as I said, I've had to do leaf blowers, lawn mowers, sinks, faucets. When you think about it, and it's really interesting sometimes. haven't found a box of Rent a Boyfriend. I was very disappointed because there was one box called Rent a Girlfriend. And I went, I wonder whether you could, because there is a business called Hire a Hubby. And I thought, I wonder whether for equal opportunities. I said, well, where are the boyfriends? But anyway, if I knew that, but I've been told by my son that Rent a Girlfriend is actually an anime. So there you go. But all I know just said Rent a Girlfriend. That's all I know. Yes, KJ's new faucet. Now I've got questions about that too. Questions about that. She talked. Oh, here we go. Oh. Well, I've got questions about, because somebody made a comment about it, and sorry, that's her video, and the questions that I have. No, it's about KJ, so I apologize for those of you that our friend KJ. I'm just going to pull this up. All right, so here we go. This is the faucet. Why does this make me so excited? Apparently, it's a faucet to tell you whether your water is red or blue. Are you from there too, Physics Down Under? So tell me an adult without telling me getting a new faucet and being obsessed with the light technology. Thanks for installing the faucet. Right. So, someone says, I don't feel like I need lights to tell me when it's hot. Actually, if you see my so this is Toad. Okay, it helps our 9-year-old son to know when it's safe to put his hands under the faucet when washing them without getting scalding hot water. So my first question is, why is he washing his hands in the kitchen sink? I can understand, but for decades we haven't needed LED lights to say, to teach our children the difference between hot and cold. Now she says, our son has autism and already deals with sensory issues related to water. He's extremely sensitive to temperature of air, water, etc. due to other medical issues. So this is really going to help him. You are lucky not to have medical conditions or a disability. Not everyone knows how to gauge water. What is scalding to you is not the same for others. Our son's whole body can get red from water that isn't even hot. Now, here's my question. Why would his whole body be scalding under a kitchen sink? Due to having brain damage from CP, she's likely... So, now she's diagnosing people from CP. She's likely to have dysautonomia. It's where the central nervous system isn't functioning properly and can't regulate the automatic systems of our bodies. My son's issues are all due to neurological issues. But she's saying that he wouldn't about his body not knowing when it's too hot. But why did they install it on the kitchen sink and not the bathroom? That is my question. Why does it need to be on the kitchen? If it's to help their son with the water, where is the most likely place that you would have your children washing their hands? Where would the most likely place be for your child to be bathing? I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. Like, why? My question is, why has it gone onto the kitchen and not the bathroom? if it's for your son. That's all I'm saying. Because who does that most likely? Who's the most person? Well, no, she hasn't. But the picture that she showed is the kitchen. And she hasn't said that it's installed in the house. It says, get in a new faucet. So she didn't say faucets. Faucets. Thanks for installing the faucet. That's the kitchen. Although there is a toothbrush there. That looks like that's a toothbrush in the background. So maybe they do use it for him. But for me, and then there's music to go. So yeah, that's the kitchen sink. So anyway, that's just what I'm saying. For me, it would have been better off being in the bathroom if that's what it's for. So that's my whole question about that is why, if it's to benefit your son, why wouldn't it be in the bathroom or on the bathtub or the shower of where he's going to be using? Because she said that it's, that what's hot to him, he doesn't understand the body sensory issues and stuff like that. Well, even the light may not help him either, because he's going to go, oh, it's blue, it's cold, or it's red, it's hot, but I still think it's cold. So anyway, that's what I'm just saying. I'm just, that's the question that I have. That's my biggest question, and I'm not really. Yeah, well, that's right. That was her excuse. That was her excuse because she was questioning about why the tap was a big deal. So it came back to being it's for her son. So, and I'm saying, why would your son be doing all of his bathroom stuff in the kitchen? Who does that? I don't know. It doesn't say anything about the. Don't ask. You know what? She could have got one. She could have got one that changed the watercolor. I just googled it. Look at this. Wouldn't this be better to have blue and red? Oh dear. That's right. Correct. That would be nice. If only Todd could fix the heater in winter so I don't have to. Well, it was a gas oven, wasn't it? The gas oven too, if I remember rightly, wasn't it? That she left on. I might be wrong. Oh no, theirs broke last year or something. Something happened to it. Well, and that's what I think that's what the person was saying, that well, yeah, what are they going to do when he's not around them? He's got to know at some stage what's hot and what's cold. Yeah, but I think I have a feeling that it was that they've got a gas oven, because that's what a lot of the outrage was, because it was a gas oven and she turned the gas on. Ah, maybe 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 they don't know that. Oh, it was 30 years ago? Okay. She has said that, hasn't she? She's going to put him in a conservatorship and that he's not going to be able to leave the house or have friends or she did say that, didn't she? You're correct. Leave Todd alone. Oh dear. All right, see you, Dan. That is true. We are behind the times. Pull down. I'm just on the I'm just on the website. I'm trying to find out what the faucet was. I thought it was the 1950. Yeah, if you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream. It's very unusual. And like, you got me twice today. Been on twice today. Oh dear. Hello, Cal. How are you? Cool. Good to see you. Well, yes, particularly with the particularly with the treatment of women too. Well, I'm just looking at these ones here. They're called a temp sense indicator, and the products, they're either kitchen. No, I didn't see that. So these are sink faucets with the touch technology or the LED technology, and they're not cheap. And they're kitchen faucets. They're not we can get voice IQ ones. See, $600 to $700. I'll have to have a look. So anyway, Brittany Higgins, is that what? Who am I looking at? Holly Hughes. Okay, let's have a look at Holly Hughes. So my whole point is, as I said, in my opinion, they would have been better off getting a bathroom one. That would be more helpful for their son. Holly Hughes, and what is that about Maurice Payne? Peter? She's the senator? Oh no, that was the US. Oh, I thought that was the US. I don't know. That is true physics, but as I said, the whole purpose of them saying that they bought it was for their son. And so I have issues with the fact that he would be having to bathe or do stuff in the kitchen sink. That's my point. Oh, okay. Oh, did he? Did she? Oh, I'll have to find that out. All right, let's have a look. I'm trying to see that now. Sorry. I'm just going through her Twitter. Jenny is all class, Jenny Morrison. Unlike so many others on this platform, shame on you attacking politicians' spouses and their children. They are conscripts, gracious and polite, even when she has to host those with no manners or grace. And then about the Zali Zegel, she's come out and she goes, "Are you hiding 200K from them now?" She calls them a hypocrite. Oh, dear me. Oh, another one I don't like. So message to Victorian women is stay home or don't go out with friends at night, or don't go about your day exactly as you intend on your terms, because women don't need to change their behavior, men do. Right? To that she says, perhaps it's time that Premier to heed his own advice. Oh, really? She deleted it? She's deleted it. No, he didn't. Oh, here, defending. Oh no, that's not it. No. Gee whiz, she's vile, in my opinion. Well, that's true as well. I mean, but hey. You're searching for it? Okay. Should you avoid to get murdered? Yeah. Not much is going on, Cal. We are just talking about anything and everything. At the moment, we're talking about Alan Tudge. We were talking about a faucet before that changes color for temperature. That was a Katie Joy thing. But makes sense. Well, I'm glad something makes sense. It's not much makes sense. There's not much that makes sense in this world at the moment. I hate to tell you. I have to say, I'm so glad that Friendly Geordie's watched the 60 Minutes report for us and showed clips, because all the clips that he showed in his video made me glad I didn't actually watch it. That's all I can say. Oh, so this was something Senator Holly Hughes wrote to Rochelle Miller, who had an affair with Alan Tudge, made some allegations, says, well, and she says, well, you have some serious issues, honey. Lots of therapy. Stop making unfounded accusations, then hiding behind false legal premises. But insulting women who don't agree with. You'll fit right in with your new Green mates. I noticed silence about Chairman Dan as well. Wowzers. But remember, Nicole Flint said it's the Labor Party that's sexist and misogynistic and picks on people. Don't forget that. We looked at that this morning, the one this morning. We looked at Nicole Flint. So this is Rochelle Miller, the woman that she was just talking about. Rochelle Miller, she's got Keeping Up Appearances. She says, been bothering me for a while now. Who Holly Hughes reminded me of. Finally got it. Oh, dear me. So you've been in, yeah, so COVID, I see. Obviously, you've been reading lots of stuff. Is Joyce part of Hillsong too? Oh, really? Oh, it goes further. A bulldog lady has been playing around. Oh, and her WA hubby not happy. Nice. Hey, Mama Duke. I did want the gloss tonight, Peter, so spill. Spill. Yes, a whole lot of stuff did come out. Yes, so today, apparently, New South Wales Police have said that they're going to do an internal investigation, but we'll see what happens. Right? Fuller's Another Hill song. Well, he was ScoMo's neighbour at one stage as well, so that's always a bit of a worry. And he was ScoMo was trying to get him into a seat. Was trying to get him a safe seat too. But at the moment, Fuller's not been able to get a job anywhere. Oh. Oh. Well, that's right. That's my response, Peter. Oh, that's gross. That's an image of. Oh dear me. Oh. Oh dear me. So what I will say, is there only one high-profile female politician from WA still? So, see what you can have. I'm trying to speak in code here, because oh dear me. Well, that's what I'm saying. Julie Bishop is gone. I can only think of one other woman, and you said WA. So I don't want another copyright breach. Oh no, this is I got the oh, I really want to just, but I need to get a little bit more confirmation. I need to do some digging down a rabbit hole. Oh dear, it's a doozy. Oh dear me. Oh dear. No, Julie Bishop went at the last election. So it's Julie Chopper Bishop or Ghost Jet. Ghost Jet. Yeah, so she. So think of. I'll give you a hint. Think of a hyena. Think of the most evil person, who is like a hyena from the LNP. Can I get away with that because I'm a woman? Can I refer to this person as a hyena? And it's so funny that the person that so Peter says, can I just say it's a cash splash, people, a cash splash. I just find it very interesting that the person alleged hooked up with also has their hand in cash. Oh, that didn't sound right. That didn't like. That did not. That came out. That came out wrong. That's not what I meant. I mean, also, no, I can't say it without it turning out badly. So we're talking about cash splash. Oh. All right. So we're talking about cash splash in WA. Okay. The person allegedly involved I'm trying to say this. Holds the treasury. Oh dear. I was going to say has the key to the treasure, but and when you think about those two people, I can't think of a worse combination. Remember, it's all alleged. It's not all alleged. Oh dear me. Oh. So you've got somebody that's a cash splash and somebody that holds the treasury. Allegedly. Oh. And that person is from Melbourne. How to name politicians without naming politicians. Oh. Oh. Peter, you should have set the ScoMo up with an apprenticeship while he was in the NT, because if the polls are correct, he may be needing a job. He can learn how to weld. Oh, there's something I could say there, but it's not very nice. Yeah. We were talking about a female politician that's your school leavers are smarter than that. Oh, I'll just ask Peter to set ScoMo up with an apprenticeship. Oh dear me. Sorry, short order. I'll try and behave next time. But come on, you have to wonder that combination though. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh. Oh, really? You even had to hire your son this year? Wow. Well, I need to do some more investigations because if I'm going to get politicians behaving badly, we will need to go further in that to see whether there's any, see if we can find any truth to the rumor. Oh dear, that was hilarious. Yeah. So, oh boy. Well, I've been on for nearly an hour and a half. It must be nearly time to. Oh, I think I need to leave before I dig myself into a further hole. Oh, there's somebody out. There's somebody's got a thing to try and out PR guy. Has that come from the PR guy? Because if it's come, if I don't know if anything's true is going to come of it. So if you haven't got the hint yet, this is an independent putting some signage up in the seat of Kooyong, which is the seat the current treasurer holds. Oh. Yeah, someone's trying to find out who PR guy is, but probably quite interesting because I do follow PR guy. And I have to say, PR guy, book him now. That's graffiti. Yeah. Well, have you driven around Kooyong? His face is everywhere. He's holding cash. Holding the cash. Oh dear me. Sorry, I'll go back into my allegedly. Allegedly, I'd just like to state that. So he's got this. This is what he wrote, the PR guy. It says, I noticed a suit has been reportedly filed in the federal court to finally prove that I work for Dan Andrews. There's even a fundraiser to cover the costs. What this means is that people who don't like Dan Andrews are paying money to actually prove I don't work for him. Nice. During an election year, this will be the most welcome favour to Dan Andrews, finally clearing up the wild rumours that his office is behind some kind of secret social media operation. Much better PR than any I could provide with a hashtag. So, and then it's the PR guy that did this. This is Liberal Senator. Oh, he tweeted that. Yeah. So he's trending. So apparently we're dropping QR codes and dancing the bit limits. Oh, look, there's the treasurer. So is it this Abby? Is it this guy that's trying to do that? This is yeah. So anyway, that's PR guy. Really quite interesting. The treasurer. Yes, the treasurer. That's the treasurer. The treasurer holding the cash. Oh dear. Allegedly. So my sources tell me. Oh dear. Well, I wish you'd just hurry up and call the election. Well, that's true, but we already know that he's on the campaign trail. So why doesn't he just put us all out of our miseries, hey? And we've got a state. I mean, I've got a state election too later this year too. Got to have two. Like, can you think of two worst things? Two elections in 1 year? Probably those who've had to do the by-elections have got the same problem, but you know. State and federal. I think November's the state one. So hilarious. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a fun night. Thank you, Peter, for giving me images now that I can't get out of my head. Well, actually, I do have a worse thought, but anyway. Thanks, Peter. Don't know how I'm going to get rid of that image. But yeah. But thank you for joining me. I don't know when I'll be back live again. I'll try and get live again tomorrow night. But otherwise, I will catch you next time. 22.86 centimeters. Oh dear. Is that the size of the treasury? Right, sorry, I'll go now. Yes. All right, thank you. Oh dear me. Well, it was interesting. Friendly Geordie's got his video taken down where he talked about Brothers' affair, and he turned out to be right. So maybe I'll lose this video with what, and it could be turned out to be right. Hey. Oh dear. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you again next time. Make sure you hit the YouTube thingies on the way out. That would be great and really appreciated. But, oh dear. And yeah, I'll catch you again next time. Make sure that you click the belly thingy, ring my bell. Woo! And then when I upload videos, you'll be notified. All right. Thank you, and bye for now.